So I was on the lookout for a decent wheel cleaner, something which had a fair amount of cleaning ability, but also was quite safe on different finishes as well. So this search led me to trying P&S Brake Buster. So if you have a look on the bottle, it does say that it's safe to use on all wheels, it's suitable for tyres as well, it's a non-acidic formula, and it also does have corrosion inhibitors, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. I'm going to be sharing my experience using the product in a few different ways on a few different cars, so ultimately you can see whether it's a product that looks suitable for you. So the first thing I wanted to do was look at the product when used contactlessly. So this isn't actually a contactless cleaner, I just wanted to do this to give myself a little bit of an idea of the cleaning power of the product. So you can use this product in an IK foamer, but you can also use it just sprayable. So in the IK foamer I went for a 1:5 dilution, sprayed that all over, and then I just used the product neat on the other half of the wheel. So you can see here what it kind of looks like when it's dwelling, so this is in real time, and you can see that the foam side does tend to slip off quite quickly, so I think that is going to negatively affect the cleaning power in this test. You can see on the tyre of the side that was just sprayable, there was a reaction already, so that's looking pretty good so far. On the foamer side, there was a little bit of browning to the sort of tyres, so you can see it pulling a little bit of dirt. So I gave both products a 2-minute dwell time, and you can see here that on the right hand side the foam had pretty much entirely slipped off the alloy itself, but there was a little bit on the tyre still left. And you can see here on the right hand side there was still quite a lot of dirt left on the vehicle, and on the left hand side there was a significant improvement, so I think there is some level of contactless cleaning. So I'm personally quite a big fan of wheel shampoos, and that's what I use to clean my own car, which doesn't get as dirty as this. So I wanted to see what this product looked like in an IK foamer, because that is how I normally use my own wheel shampoos. So you can see the wheel that I'm working on here, and a lot of the brake dust is removed on that initial rinse, but the wheel still did look pretty grimy after the rinse. So with the IK foamer again, I went for that 1:5 dilution ratio, which seems pretty standard that most people tend to be using. And I first started off by working the product in on the tyres. There wasn't too much of a reaction going on here, and the foam did eventually turn brown, but considering how dirty the tyres were to begin with, I do think that the product needs to be used at a higher concentration here. Once I cleaned the tyres, I then moved on to the alloys, and again used that same mixture. I use this just using sort of a standard brush here, so medium kind of bristle hardness here. There was a decent bit of flex to the brush, but it wasn't sort of one of those super soft ones. And the product did work very well here. I think the foam does tend to slip off quite quickly, so by the time you get to the bottom of the wheel, or whichever part you're cleaning last, a lot is coming off at this stage, so a little bit of your product does end up on the floor, which is a little bit annoying. The dwell time isn't amazing, and you can see here I did miss a spot, so I had to go back in there. So here you can see what the wheel looked like after that sort of clean, and there was definitely a little bit of brake dust still on there because these wheels are not very well maintained. So I just went in with the Neat Brake Buster just in the sprayer, and just worked that in on one of the alloy spokes so you could see how much of a difference it was making at that 5:1 in the foamer versus used in the spray bottle neat. And you can see what it looked like here. There was definitely an improvement, a little bit still left that would require an acid cleaner, but still looking pretty good, and you can see the before and after just the foamer and then after the spray as well. So I found this wheel which was very, very dirty. There's a lot of baked on brake dust here, so there's a lot of surface kind of brake dust that would come off with the rinse, as you can see here. There was also a lot of really, really sort of baked on brake dust here that would really sort of require acid to be able to tackle it properly. So you can see here what it looked like after the initial rinse, and for this I just wanted to test the cleaning ability at a more diluted concentration, but in a sprayer this time. So I went for 20%, which is sort of a 1:4 ratio. In the sprayer at this concentration, when you're not using it in neat, when you are using it at this sort of more diluted concentration, it doesn't foam up that much. It foams up a little bit and it's fine to use, but I do personally prefer a product when it foams up a little bit more. It just helps you to see where you've been, and I do generally find it a little bit more enjoyable to use when it foams up a little bit better. And you can see on all the wheels that I'm dealing with today, I'm not going to be cleaning the barrel just because it's a little bit harder to kind of see in there, and they're also really, really heavily contaminated, so I don't think this product was really going to be that effective in comparison to acid here. You can see after that sort of pass, there was still quite a lot of that really caked on brake dust, so it wasn't really doing much in terms of lifting that off. So again, I went in with that neat Brake Buster concentration, just in the standard spray bottle, and then really agitated it on those areas where there was particular heavy build-up, just to see whether we were lifting a little bit more off at this point or whether it would require the use of acid. And you can see the results here. There was a little bit of an improvement, but definitely would need something stronger here. I did use KKD's Devil Juice after this, and I actually needed a 1-to-1 concentration of that to get all the brake dust off, so it was a harsh test for this product, and what you're sort of sacrificing in potential cleaning ability in this situation, you're gaining in safety in comparison to an acid cleaner. So I also wanted to look at the products just as a tyre cleaner in this stage. So I have my sort of current favourite tyre cleaner for dirty cars, and that is Autobahn Rebound, so I thought it'd be good to have a look at it in comparison to that. So I did start actually using it diluted at that 1:5 ratio in the foamer, just to see if you use this method whether you can use the same chemical and that concentration on the wheels as well, for simplicity really. So as you can see on the first pass, there was a decent level of browning to the foam here, not quite as much as I expected from these tyres, so I did give them a second hit. And you can see on the second pass there was still a decent level of browning. It potentially needed another hit here, but I then wanted to look at the products at neat concentration, so just in the spray trigger, and I gave this a good scrub, and you can see here that there was definitely a bit more sort of browner foam, so I could see that it was pulling a bit more dirt off in this single pass. And you can see here next to each other what the brushes look like, and there was definitely more sort of brown into the foam on the second side with the spray. So I gave it another pass just to see whether it had cleaned effectively, whether the foam was white at this stage. And as you can see by this comparison photo of the foam again, the foam on the second hit was definitely a lot whiter. So then I moved on to my comparison with Autobahn Rebound, which I do think is a very, very potent product and the most potent I've tried up to date. And you can see here a very similar effect, good level of sort of brown foam coming off at this point and a pretty quick reaction. So to keep things fair, I did give Autobahn Rebound a second pass as well, just to confirm that the foam was white after the second pass, and I was pretty happy with the colour of it at this point. So if we look at this photo here, we can see what the foam looks like on the first hit for both products, and I couldn't really see much difference. So of course at this stage we want it to look as brown as possible, and that's indicating that it's pulling a lot of dirt away. On the second photo here, we can see what it looked like after the second hit, and again they both look pretty white to me and I couldn't really detect much difference. Autobahn Rebound is a very capable tyre cleaner and a very popular one. I think that Brake Buster is definitely capable of competing with it, and from this test really seems to be offering pretty similar experience. So in terms of the advantages of the products, I do think that it's good that you can dilute the products. I would like to see this on the label because I do think you can use this at around 20% and get pretty good results on wheels that aren't quite as dirty and don't have really sort of years of baked on brake dust. I also do think the product has a good level of cleaning ability. You're of course going to get the best of it when you use it neat, and it's going to bring that cost up. It does sit between my kind of wheel shampoos and my acidic wheel cleaner. So I think on particularly dirty wheels that haven't been left for, I'd say, years with baked on brake dust, you are probably going to get quite a lot of success from this product. I do like though that it is acid free, and the addition of the corrosion inhibitor I do think is a good touch. When looking at the disadvantage of the product, I'd say the first one was that the foam is very dry in that IK foamer and the cling time of it wasn't amazing. Another disadvantage I'd say would be the price. Generally you're going to get the best out of this product when using it neat, and you do have to use quite a lot of it, which brings up the costs quite significantly. It is reasonably expensive in the UK, I think, in comparison to the US, so it might not be a problem depending on where you are, but just be mindful that there probably are more cost-effective options out there. And finally, I don't think that this is maybe as much of a disadvantage but a limitation. It's not the strongest product out there. You're going to get better cleaning ability from an acid cleaner. However, this is generally something that's more in line with a kind of maintenance product, something on wheels that haven't had years of sort of abuse. In that case, you would need an acid wheel cleaner and you're going to sacrifice some of the safety when using that product. Whereas with this one, of course, it's a safer option, but you're not getting that really top-end cleaning ability, so it's more of a limitation than a sort of disadvantage, I would say. As I said at the start, I do use wheel shampoos on my wheels as they are more well maintained, so I'll pop a link on screen to a comparison of my two favourite wheel shampoos so you can check that out as well. If you have enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you could drop it a like. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.